is, really looking at introverts and their energy and how do you continue to recharge because our batteries get low and we need to recharge. And so living my optimal life is really about, I don't want to even say being fully charged because the minute, your phone is fully charged, you use it and it starts going down. So I feel like my optimal life is living in a place where I don't go into the red with my battery. My energy stays, I don't even want to say consistent, but my energy stays up enough until I can recharge it. So I'm not draining it all the way and which I have done in the past, which we'll talk about that. It's burnout, guys, right? Just being able to take your energy and fuel it and know that you're going to drain your battery on things that even you're passionate about and still drains your battery. And so that's living my optimal life, is being in a place where I can recharge my battery and continue and have a more consistent energy.
Hi, I'm Amber Dancy, CEO of Practical Rebel, and you are tuned in to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Robin Mayberry. I'm the CEO of Robin Mayberry Creates, and you are tuned in to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Robin Clare, and I'm the Executive Director of the Seniors Job Bank, and you are tuned in to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Megan Selzy, and I'm the CEO of Next Step Education, and you are tuned into the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, my name is Shannon Malcolm-Daniels, founder of Speak Success, Public Speaking Communication and Confidence Coaching, and you're tuned in to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Marianne Pack, CEO of Envision Greatness Press, and you are listening to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Grow Your Business Smarter, Live Your Optimal Life TV show. I am your host, Dr. Davia Shepherd, and in addition to hosting this amazing TV show, which is all about women sharing their gifts and talents with you so that you can grow your business smarter, in addition to this, I also host a women's group called Ladies Power Lunch, and it's a wonderful place where women in business, we're talking about women with larger businesses, women with smaller businesses, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. We're talking about women who might be in corporate life, they might be in nonprofit, they might be retired. It doesn't matter. What brings us all together is this wonderful, wonderful idea that when we get together and we support each other, everybody's business grows and everybody wins. It's the idea of collaboration. So I invite you, if you're a woman in business and this idea sounds amazing to you, come join us. It's free to join. Just go to growsmarternotharder.com/Facebook and come be a part of our amazing community. You are welcome. Every day in our community, we're having amazing conversation with our members who are brilliant, brilliant women ready to share their gifts. And today we're having on the show just such a conversation. My special guest, and she is so special to me, believe me, she holds a prime place in my heart, JenJones. She's the best-selling author of this outstanding book. Folks, if you haven't had a chance to read it yet, I recommend, highly recommend, go get it. It's called INTROPRENEUR: Strategies to Build Your Business as an Introverted Entrepreneur. But hear me out on this one. You might not classify yourself as an introvert. I certainly don't think that I generally do. I'm probably more half and half. Sometimes I like hanging out with tons of people and I can't get enough. And then there are other times when I'm like, hello, that's enough. Time for me to go in my little corner and retreat. But the truth is, the principles that Jen outlines in this book and the strategies, the heart-centered, I need to preface this, the heart-centered strategies for connection that she outlines in her book, they are for everyone, not just for the introverted at heart. And so I like to think about Entrepreneur as a guide for networking for humans. That's just the way I tend to think of this book. It's a wonderful book. We are so excited that as Ladies Power Lunch, we were able to help birth this book alongside Jen and be a part of her amazing process and just witness her brilliance firsthand. And today we're excited to have her on the show with us. Welcome, Jen. Thanks so much for joining us.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here and ready to get down to business and talk about our optimal life.
Yes, because, and the reason we're talking about living our optimal life is we have a brand new anthology from Ladies Power Lunch that has just hit the racks and it's already a bestseller. We have 18, not 12, 18 outstanding authors who are part of that anthology. And in that outstanding book, they have shared their journeys from being dull to being brilliant, from being low on joy to being very, very joyful, and how they have actually been able to, no matter what the circumstances that are going on in their lives, actually live optimal life, living up to the potential that they see for themselves. And then not only are they sharing their inspirational stories, but they're also at the end of each chapter sharing with us some worksheets, some tips, some things that we can actually use to go integrate into our lives so that we can actually live our optimal lives. Because, folks, how many of us have read a book and thought to ourselves, you know what, this is great. This is nice. At some point in time, I'm going to integrate this into my life. And then life happens. Am I right? I mean, life happens. And then we forget about that book. And maybe years and years later, it might pop into our heads like, yeah, I did read that book. Somebody might mention it. We don't want that with this book. We want it to be working for you, doing for you the things that you need to live your optimal life. So, of course, I do invite you to get your copy of the Live Your Optimal Life anthology at growsmarter.com/ticket. And in addition to getting your paperback copy, you'll also get access to the Ladies Power Lunch Summit replays. And this summit was the launch of our Live Your Optimal Life book. And every single one of our authors presented at least one workshop. So you have hours and hours of really great content where you can get to know the authors even better. You can dive deeper into the content that they presented. But one of our amazing presenters was Jen, and she actually shared about how to live our optimal network. So before we dive into all of that though, Jen, you've been on the show before countless times. Most of our guests our viewers, our audience, they do know you, but there's some people who might be new. They might not have met you before. Can you share in your beautiful Ladies Power Lunch t-shirt?
Yes.
Can you share with everybody who you are and some of the amazing things that you're doing in the world?
Yes, so I am Jen Jones, and I am a realtor, speaker, and best-selling author of INTROPRENEUR, which we already talked about. But I am someone who identifies as an introvert, although a lot of people will see from the outside, they're like, how can you be an introvert? Well, I am. I love my alone time. I love my small group of people. I'm excited for the summit. There's going to be a lot of people there. And so I have to get my battery all charged up to show up there. And I'm just really excited to be able to share my story with you about how INTROPRENEUR came to be, how, successful introvert women can really succeed. I already said that, can really succeed in business and in life. I think that we forget that even though INTROPRENEUR was written for entrepreneurs, at the end of the day, there are a lot of introverts out there who may just be working for somebody else. They're not an entrepreneur, but the first half of that book is really geared towards the introvert. So if you are an introvert, but you're like, oh, I don't own a business, I really don't have any interest in that, still might want to pick it up. It has some really great golden nuggets in there.
It really does. It has amazing nuggets. I would love for you to share with our audience because they're just as nosy as I am and they love story, Jen. They love story so much. Can you share with everybody a little bit about your journey to writing INTROPRENEUR? How did you get there?
Well, I've been wanting to write a book. I think everyone has this, I want to write a book. I just didn't know what it would be. And when you sort of presented an opportunity for me, I'm like, is now the right time to share my story? And what does that look like? I didn't even have a title for it. It was just it was following my heart that this is something that needs to get out into the world. And so the process of making a decision to write a book was fairly easy, yet it took a little bit of time because, I'm a thinking introvert. So I had to go through, what's the time commitment that it's going to take? I surely didn't think it was going to take that long to write the book and then launch it. My favorite part of the whole process was working with a team of people who were able to give me feedback on my writing. So, the editing piece, the concept piece, and really take it through the end product and how do you get it out into the world. So I'm still almost 2 years later, sitting here still trying to get the book out into the world. And I think that I did not anticipate that. I just thought, oh, I'd read a book, I'd probably spend the year promoting it, and and then I'd give it out as gifts. But here I am almost 2 years later going, wow, I started that journey really of faith that, this was the book that needed to come out into the world, and worked with your team to do it. And here we are.
I think that when we put something like that out in the world, we don't really know exactly how it's all going to pan out. And, you know, the objective is not to have it sit on a shelf and just be a decorative element, even though I just want to say that we've done many, many books with many beautiful covers, and Entrepreneur is my favorite of all of them. I'm not even kidding. I love that book cover so much. It's beautiful. But in addition to it being beautifully decorative on our shelves, it really needs, when we do these projects, they really do need to connect with the folks out there who need that work, who might be losing sleep at night because they need to connect with that information. And so, yes, Jen, it's going to perhaps be a lifelong work of yours to keep promoting this book, to keep getting it in the hands of the people who need it. And I love, love, love that you're committed to that idea. So let's talk a little bit about live your optimal life. And that's the theme of Ladies Power Lunch Anthology. It's the theme of Ladies Power Lunch Summit. And as one of the summit presenters, the summit workshop facilitators, when you think of living your optimal life, what comes to mind for you? I feel like a lot of different people have a lot of different ideas of what optimal life means.
Well, for this moment, which I feel like I've been talking about energy since I launched the book, because that's part of Intropreneur is really looking at introverts and their energy, and how do you continue to recharge, because our batteries get low and we need to recharge. And so living my optimal life is really about, I don't want to even say being fully charged, because the minute your phone is fully charged, you use it and it starts going down. So I feel like my optimal life is living in a place where I don't go into the red with my battery. My energy stays, I don't even want to say consistent, but my energy stays up enough until I can recharge it. So I'm not draining it all the way, and which I have done in the past, which we'll talk about that. It's burnout, guys, right? Just being able to take your energy and fuel it and know that you're going to drain your battery on things that even you're passionate about, and still drains your battery. And so that's living my optimal life, is being in a place where I can recharge my battery and continue and have a more consistent energy.
How did you get to the stage where energy became such an important piece of the way that you live your life? Was there something that happened, or?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's been these cycles of burnout, and probably not in the last couple of years. Although book launch, let me tell you, that didn't necessarily burn me out, but it got me pretty close to red, if not in red, because it was just a lot of energy to launch that I don't think I anticipated. I mean, it definitely takes energy to do things, but because I was so excited about it, I think it drained my battery a little bit quicker. So this cycle of burning out, and then it takes a little while to start getting that energy back up, where the last couple of years I've been really able to watch how I use my energy, how my energy drains, and at what speed it drains. And then I'm able to sort of adjust. Now this summer, let me tell you, this summer I have two adult children, 18 and 20, and an 8-year-old. And my adult children, it's a whole, for those of you who are parents out there who have adult children, it's a very difficult place to be as a parent, and it can be very draining, especially across the board. But for an introvert, someone who is highly sensitive, taking on our children's struggles can be very difficult. So that has been my challenge over the summer. And you know what I got out of? And I'm getting to answer your question with a little bit of a story. I got out of my morning time for myself. So I got out of doing my meditations. I got out of, journaling. I got out of, pulling cards or just being quiet, stretching, all those things that feed my soul and recharge my battery. I got out of the habit because it was summer. And so it was sort of like, oh, well, it's summertime. And, and I love the sun. The sun definitely rejuvenates me. But it was a challenging summer. And so to answer your question, spending that time alone, knowing what recharges my battery is probably the number one thing that I need to remember, so that I don't burn out. Because I was pretty close over the summer. And it wasn't even like business stuff, it was personal stuff.
I don't have adult children. My children are still pretty little. I think my little one and your little one are age appropriate, but I totally get it. Summer was hectic and I did get out of my routine of my morning. And then guess what else happened, Jen? Guess what else happened, everybody? When school started this year, my older one, he's now going to a different school, so his time is earlier, 1 whole hour earlier. And so my morning routine that I was planning to jump right back into as soon as fall happened, unless I get up 1 full hour earlier, it's not going to happen. So now I have to think about where in my day am I going to fit my routine in? Because here we are, school started in September. We're at the beginning of October. It's been 4 full weeks, and I still haven't figured out routinely and consistently how to fit it back in. Like I come into the office, try to get some meditation, maybe do some mindfulness when I get in. But sometimes when I walk in that door, the office is go, go, go. It's time. Let's get it moving. So this is going to be an interesting exercise in prioritizing for me. And it's always learning. So I share this with you so that you all know that we are all a work in progress as we move towards living our optimal lives. Jen, if you could wrap us all in one big, amazing Jen hug in the whole world and give us one piece of advice, one thing that you think we're all missing out on. And if we could just get that one thing going, we could be so much closer to living our optimal life. You're going to now, in one sentence, solve all the problems of humanity. Go.
Find your people, find your person. I think that especially over the last few years, I say we, I'm including myself, we've gotten out of the habit of meeting with people in person. I mean, I'm better at it now, but when someone's like, oh, do you want to do Zoom or, get a coffee? And I'm like, can we just do a phone call? I did that last week and caught myself. And that at the time, that was the right answer because energy wise, a phone call was perfect. And it was only about 5-10 minutes. But at the end of the day, we need human connection. And so, if you don't have your people, keep looking, they're there. And if you do have your people, meet with them in person if you can, if if location allows, just really connect with people. I think that's my blanket, right? Connection with people and the right people. You don't want, Debbie Downers or, negative Nillies in there. You want to surround yourself with the right people who lift you up and you are able to lift them up.
I am a big fan of building networks that are heart-centered and just really, really people-focused and not the traditional networks of you walk in, you give everybody a business card and hope for the best. That is never my approach, but actually people that you can get to know and they get to know you. And it's more about the personal connection than anything else. So I totally agree with that. If you were going to give us some do's and don'ts for living our optimal lives, what should we be doing more of? What should we be absolutely avoiding as much as we can?
So a couple do's. So we'll start with do's first, because I think that sometimes we get out of touch with, what lights us up. And, I surely, like I said, over the summer, that has been part of, the challenge for me. And so remember that the things that light you up, are the things that you want to be doing more of. For instance, do set intentions, which you can call them goals, you can call them intentions, whatever it is, set goals on a monthly, quarterly, yearly basis. But what I've been doing recently that has been really keeping me focused on, my mission in life and my passion is to set intentions every day. And it doesn't take that long to do. And it might seem overwhelming, but even if you could come up with one word, maybe you can pull an oracle card that maybe just has one word that you can focus on for that day. I think just really picks up my spirits, and I feel like it does for other people too, as I've talked about it. So that's one do: set intention, set goals, a word. those are the, kind of all in the same package. And then get out, get outside your comfort zone just a little bit. If you're looking for someone to connect with, maybe you go to a new, networking event that might be around you. Maybe you haven't been in a while. So put yourself out there a little bit, and you never know, you might actually find your people when you do that. And then probably number 3 is really looking at who can you work with. You talked about collaboration at the beginning of this, because that's your biggest, what I call your big ticket item, right? Collaboration. And I just, I think about all the opportunities that I've missed because I wasn't paying attention. So pay attention to the collaborations that you could do in the next quarter, the next year. The year's almost done, so we're in Q4. In the holidays, so maybe it's something that you can do for after the first of the year. But put yourself out there, look at possible collaborations. When we work together, it really has some huge impact on the world. And so that's what those are my do's. Don't. I'm kind of reiterating, beating a dead horse here. I don't even know if that's politically correct, but it's just watch your energy. So don't do things that are going to burn you out, right? Or drain your battery completely. Don't do those things. In addition to the don'ts, it's don't. I just lost my train of thought. So
Hop back on that train, Jen.
So just the don'ts is really about energy, and it's not burning out your battery, but also don't be around people that drain your battery a lot. So it's hard to get away from those dang children. But there may be other people in your life that are draining your emotional battery, which sometimes we don't pay attention to until we're at a point where we have to pay attention to it. So just watch who you're around, and remember that you do have an opportunity to, have a break from people, and that's okay.
Feels like a lot like boundary setting with folks who might be energetically not appropriate for us at all times. I like that. I'm taking notes as you're sharing all of this. I know you really feel strongly about setting your intentions and your goals, getting outside of your comfort zone, looking to see who possible collaboration partners could be. I know when it comes to watching your energy, you're very vigilant about that. And of course, watching who you're around. Do you have any stories of maybe yourself or clients who've used these principles and have seen immense changes on the other side of that?
Yeah. So I think, you hit the nail on the head with boundaries. And, I'll share a story of a client who was really being taken advantage of. They had volunteered to, help and as part of an organization, and they had volunteered for a specific task. And she was always being asked to do more than what she had volunteered for. And there's one thing to be a team player and be able to help fill in where necessary, but she was just finding week after week, it was like one more thing added to her plate, one more thing added to her plate. And to the point where she didn't even enjoy the organization anymore, especially in that role, and felt as though stepping back was the only option. And so I think that we can avoid taking ourselves completely out of the situation if we do set up, boundaries and say hey, I'm a team player. I really want to be involved, but I have to say no. Ooh, there it is. I have to say no to this. We have a hard time, I think, just as a society, as overachieving women, I'll use that word, is that sometimes we do have a hard time saying no because we want to be part of things and we want to do things for others. And then we forget that maybe our energy is not there. We don't have the time, if we want to spend time with our family or just spend time with ourselves and other commitments that we have, being able to set that up and be able to say no. I think that it would, and I got her towards the end of that process. And I feel like if she would have said no to some of those things, she would still be enjoying the parts that she loved about the organization. And instead, she's no longer part of it.
I think that's just so profound and yet so simple. profound in its simplicity. Really and truly, there's such power and such value in being able to recognize that, as one of our Ladies Power Lunch members likes to say, no is a complete sentence, and no thank you is a perfect sentence. And I think we think about, another one of our Ladies Power Lunch members likes to say that when we say no more often, we can say yes more fully. So the things that we actually say yes to, we can be more present for, we can be better at. And I think that is such a great reminder to all of us. As we go through our days, I'm sure there are things that we could be tapping into that could make this all better. Yes, we all definitely want to get Intrapreneur. Yes, we all want to get Live Your Optimal Life anthology, all those wonderful things. But Jen, is there anything else that you're tuned into, plugged into, maybe podcast, apps that you're using that you're like, oh, this is helping me live my best life? Anything like, anything that's present for you now that you think we might enjoy?
Yes. So I love Audible, and I love it in spurts, right? I love it when I love it, and then sometimes I'm too flighty to pay attention. I have to like re-listen. But with that said, they are doing a 3-month, if you come back. So if you haven't been on Audible in a while, if you come back, they are doing half price for 3 months. And so there's a little bonus there. And I am actually listening to right now The Map, and it's by Bonnie Lonsberry. And it was because someone was like, you should set intentions. And I was like, okay. And I remember reading this book a few years ago, and I do actually have a hard copy, but I was on a plane and I really didn't want to, get out the book. So I downloaded the Audible, and I am totally in love with everything about that book. And I love her meditations. And she's
What's the name of the author?
So Bonnie, so Boni, Lonsberry, Lonnesbury. And if I had it right here with me, I'd show you. But she's amazing. She also has, here I am, I'll toot her horn. She's going in a new direction. I think she's been doing this for over a decade. And all of her amazing meditations are free on her website at livealifeyoulove.com. I believe that's it. But they're all free. And I love the morning mastermind meditation. It's like my favorite thing. It is 10 minutes, and it really gets you into a space of feeling passionate, feeling happy, feeling calm, feeling peaceful. And it really sets my day. And I just love that meditation. So between Audible and her free meditations, those are probably my biggest tools that I'm using right now. I do love a bunch of different podcasts, but one's on human design, and it's called the Human Design Podcast. So if you're into human design, which I am also certified in doing, it's a great podcast, and getting to know your actual human design chart if you're into that.
I love all those suggestions. Those are fantastic. I was making notes. Fun fact, we're reading in Ladies Power Lunch Book Club right now. And so this will timestamp this in the way that we're not supposed to, but whatever. We're reading Colette Baron Reed's Uncharted. So, she wrote a book called, I think it's called The Map also. And now this one's called Uncharted. So now we're off script. We're off the map. We're like, anything could happen. This is crazy. And so that's what we're reading in book club. I am on I want to say chapter 9, and it's 14 chapters. And I'm just listening through. I always, for book club, listen through, like do a fast listen through, maybe double time in Audible to see, okay, what are the main points? What do I need to get? And then if the book feels like it's really robust enough and it has enough information that I'm going to want to take into my future, then I'll probably even get the Kindle copy or maybe even the paperback. So this first listen through is very, very important. But I like having this one on Audible because she does, like at the end of the chapter, a meditation. And so it's not the same just reading it. Hearing her say it makes a difference. So yes, I do absolutely like using the audiobook apps that are available.
That's very similar with The Map. She does go through some of the meditations in the book, which is pretty fun.
An interesting fun fact, found this out from another one of our guests. If you download the Libby app, which is the one for your library, you can get a lot of audiobooks as well. And they're free with your library membership. So
I'm writing that down because you're like, and I've heard about it for like a couple years now, and I just
Mhm.
heard it last week. So download the Libby app, everybody,
Yeah,
if you got your library time.
it's, it's another tool in the toolkit. So Jen, we like to be practical on the show. We like to give people things to go do so that they can integrate the things that we talk about on the show into their lives. Give us a little piece of homework, just one small thing that we can use to start living our optimal lives.
So homework is, I want you to go through the last couple of months and think about the people that you've connected with. And maybe there's some people that you wanted to connect with and you haven't done that yet. So I invite you to write down 3 people that you will connect with in person if allowed, if location allows, and set up a time to go grab coffee or lunch or go for a walk. That's another one that I don't necessarily do all the time, but I had been invited. So that's your homework. I want you to go through over the last couple of months. Who have you sat down with and had a conversation with? Who, and you want to do it again? Or maybe who have you said, let's get together, and then haven't? And then those people that have been kind of on the outskirts that you want to pull in. So I want you to pick 3 people and go do that before the end of the year.
I love that everybody has, I think, some challenges when it comes to following up. So having an intention now to go back and look and say, okay, who are we supposed to follow up with? And actually following up with 3 of them. I feel like that's going to knock a lot of things off some people's to-do list. So folks, you heard it here first. That's your homework. And I promise you, it's going to be a great experience for you. Jen, folks are going to want to know, how can they get in touch with you? They're like chomping at the bit, like, we love Jen. We love Jen. Can you hear them? Can you hear them?
I can hear them. So you can check out my website at connectandelevate.com. I'm also on Facebook and LinkedIn as JenJones. Feel free to do that. And if you are looking for my energy toolkit, that is also on the website too. And we're looking forward to, chatting with you if you're interested in learning more. And of course, you can buy the book online, either on Amazon or my website.
Beautiful. At the end of every show, we pull a card, and I usually just wait to see what card deck's gonna call me to have conversation today. And in pulling the cards, I am not expecting the card to be predictive of anything, but what I do find is that little thoughts that might be rattling around in my subconscious, they come to the forefront when I pull a card. So that sometimes, even if I pull the same card 2 days in a row, the ideas that pop into my mind are going to be different because they're really focused on what's going on with me on that particular day. So let's see, what is it that we need to learn today? My manifestations are the indicators of my beliefs. So I'm pulling from, this one is Abraham Hicks deck, and it's getting into the vortex. And the card is this one, my manifestations are the indicators of my beliefs. It says, it is always true that whatever you're living always matches your chronic vibrational patterns or beliefs. And it does not matter if you have an excellent excuse for your negative thoughts and negative emotions, they still equal your point of attraction. What is manifesting on every subject in your life is an indicator of the beliefs you hold and your chronic patterns of thought. What's this bringing up for you?
Yeah, so I feel like it's wrapping this up in like this beautiful bow, is that, we do have a lot of beliefs that no longer serve us. We have these beliefs that, have put us in a place where it's secure and it's safe for us. And now we need to let them go. And I just feel like the map also has, Bonnie has a meditation about changing your beliefs. And that is also part of her book. So I just feel like it's like, okay, there's the bow.
There is the bow. For me, what this is reminding is that we always want to be in that energetic place that you talk about, watching our energy, paying attention to our energy. And our energy is fed by the thoughts that we are constantly thinking, or the things that we have decided to believe are true. And so, great card for today's conversation. Jen, you're amazing. Thanks so much for saying yes to just so many things, saying yes to being a Ladies Power Lunch solo author, to saying yes to being part of our Ladies Power Lunch anthologies, saying yes to being part of our summits, to being one of our sponsors for so many years. We appreciate you so, so much, and for being a robust and participating member of our Ladies Power Lunch community. Thanks for being here today.
So thank you. And I was like, what am I going to wear? And so this is the t-shirt that you gave out the year that we launched the book. So it was like,
Perfect.
oh, this is perfect.
Yes, I noticed you're wearing a Ladies Power Lunch t-shirt. That's so awesome. Beautiful. Thanks so much, Jen. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This has been an amazing opportunity to catch up with a friend and to catch up with all of you. And I hope to see you all on the next show. Bye, everyone.